begin our study today in John chapter 6, verse 64. I want to talk about why don't you follow Christ? Why have you thought about not following him? Listen to his great message on I am the bread from heaven. Marvelous message, loaded with truth, and yet he knew after he did the message, many in his audience did not believe. For there are some of you who do not believe. For Jesus had known from the beginning which of them did not believe and who would betray him. Just think, Judas, when he sold Jesus out, knew all these great truths, had seen them. This is why I told you that no one can come to me unless the Father has enabled them. From this time, many of his disciples, notice that, turned back and no longer followed him. And I assume from this language that they went to a Christless eternity. They bailed out. You do not want to leave too, do you? Jesus asked the 12. Simon Peter answered him, Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words. Notice he didn't say, you have the tuna sandwiches. You have the bread that we've been. No, you have the words of eternal life. We have come to believe and to know that you are the Holy One of God. Then Jesus replied, have I not chosen you, the 12, yet one of you is a devil? He meant Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot, who, though one of the 12, was later to betray him. In the Gospel of John, the word disciple is used in various ways, and here it obviously means not a true believer, but people who begin to follow this itinerant rabbi around Palestine. He did miracles, he fed them, he did many things, and they were kind of in a crowd mentality, herd mentality. But they didn't believe his message. They liked they liked to see the sick healed. They liked the meals, but they had not put faith in him. And Christ knew this truth would eliminate many of the false followers. And he said, I told you, unless the Father has drawn you, you'll find some reason to bail out, some reason to go back. I think of even the 12, they all bailed out in the pain of Gethsemane and the shadow of the cross, but they did it out of fear. They did it out of momentary weakness. They really had been captured, and they repented and they came back. But many went back. I ask you, are you following Christ? Are you feeding on Christ? Or have you found a church that disappointed you? Or a believer that hurt you? Life is full of hurts, misunderstandings, sinning against one another. We're a flawed race. No matter whether we marry a wonderful person, you're going to need forgiveness. You're going to need understanding. Just living with another human being, you'll find out, wow, we're just sinners. But here, he said, are you going to leave me, Peter? Are you just following me for the free lunch? And Peter said, Jesus, you're more than a lunch provider. I had nothing till I found you. I had nothing. I did not have eternal life. I had a little vessel. I had a fishing trade. I had a brother, but I never had eternal life. You gave me eternal life. And I ask you, don't you want to follow Christ just for the gift of life and the promise of heaven and the promise of forgiven sins? Why go back? Because you've been hurt. Why go back? Because this didn't go your way. That didn't go your way. Can you believe his word? Can you believe his word? If you've stopped following, why don't you confess your sin and today say, I come back, Christ. Only you have the words of eternal life.